Shalom, 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 yasharala. This your boy, Brother Samuel, back at you with another edifying video. And today we're going to talk about it's okay to mourn, right? First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kal Hala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Right, that's all praises to the Most High, the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son's name, whose name is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit. Right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, from Tahar on down, who have ruled well and have fed the sheep with 100% truth and this understanding in these last days. Right, in today's lesson, I've been kind of pondering on for a little minute, and I wanted to bring it out. And it's about it's okay to mourn, right? A lot of us, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the Israelites. We deal with a lot of death in our life, right? We see a lot of death around us in our life, and a lot of us, we don't know how to deal with it, and how to, and we've been taught that, it's not manly to mourn or to cry and to do different things, man. Right? So we're going to go in the scriptures and we're going to just get into it. Okay. Let's go with the book of Ecclesiastes, right? I'm going to go to chapter 3 and I'm just going to start at verse 1, right? It says, Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, right? And that's what we got to understand, man. For every season, there's a purpose for every season and everything, right? And we know that death is one of those parts, man, right? That what comes with life, that we understand that death is a part of it, and basically just to this video is just to be brought out to let people know that it's okay, to mourn, when you lose somebody, right? It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse number 14. It says, in the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider that the Most High hath also set one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. Right? So, just like there's good days, there's bad days. Just like there's life, there's death. Right? The Most High is a balance. He's a balance. He does good and he does evil. Right? According to the scriptures, man. Right? So we got to understand that, and we understand that, the joy and the happiness that we have, even in this sorrowful life, that guess what? There's going to be a time of death, pain, and mourning, right? And we got to be able to understand that and to be able to grieve and to move on, right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. All right, chapter 33 and start at verse 13, right? And it says, as the clay is in a potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render to them as liketh him best. So the Most High is our creator. He is our potter, right? And we are the clay, and he fashions us the way he wants us, and makes us how he wants us, right? It says, good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another, right? So that's what we got to understand in this walk of life, man, right? That life is set against death. The same way as good is set against evil. It's the same way that godly is set against the sinner, right? And this is how the Most High has fashioned, this life and what we deal in, you know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that, when we're out here. Let's get another one. It's the book of Psalms, right? Salakia. It's the book of Psalms, 30 and verse number 5. It says, for his anger endureth but for a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning, right? And we've heard that saying before, that, though weeping joy comes in the morning, right? That's where they get this from, right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 30 and verse 5. It says, for his anger endureth but for a moment, and his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning, right? So just on that other side, and the way I explain it is like it's a roller coaster ride. You go up and down, right? So when you're having joy, right, you just know that sorrow is coming next, and then when that sorrow is hidden, you know that joy is coming next, right? But we know that weeping endures for a night, but joy cometh in the morning, right? Let's get this real quick. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 3, and verse number 7. It said, and the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by the reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows, right? The Most High knows the sorrows of the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He knows the pain and anguish that we go through, right? In this captivity, because this is modern day Egypt too, right? When you know through the Spirit, right, that this is our modern day Egypt, and the Lord, how he saw us back in ancient Egypt, he sees us now, and he sees our sorrows, he sees our pain, right, when we lose our loved ones, right, when they return back to the Most High, right? But it's okay to mourn. It's okay to mourn, right, for the death of our people, man, right? Let's keep going. Let's go back to the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, and we're going to go to 38, and let's go to verse number 16. It says, my son, let tears fall down over the dead, and begin to lament, as if thou hadst suffered great harm thyself, and then cover his body according to the custom, and neglect not his burial. Weep bitterly, and make great moan, and use lamentation, as he is worthy, and that a day or two, lest thou be evil spoken of, and then comfort thyself for thy heaviness. For thy heaviness cometh death, for of heaviness cometh death, and the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength. Right? So according to the scripture, you gotta weep, man, right? A lot of our people, man, we lose close loved ones to us and we don't cry, right? We use different coping mechanisms to heal or to try to cover that grief that we face, man. Right? Some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, right? Whatever it may be, man. Whatever your tool or device to kind of keep you not having to think about the death of a loved one, right? But we got to understand that, you know, the scriptures tell us, man, it says, weep bitterly and make great moan and use lamentation as is worthy, right? And that a day or two, right? It says, for of heaviness cometh death, and the heaviness of the heart breaketh strength, right? You know, you got, some people when they die close to you, man, it takes a piece of your heart, man, with you, right? But it's okay to mourn and it's okay to weep about it, right? It's okay to weep and cry, right? And moan for the death of your people, man, right? And that's a big thing that a lot of you so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans got to learn, especially our men, man, right? Because we learned that it's not manly to cry when someone dies, right? Or to weep or moan when somebody close to us passes away, man, right? But let's get this right. Let's get the perfect example, right? Let's go to the book of John, right? Chapter 11, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. And I'm gonna skip, right? And it says, "Now a certain man was sick, named Lazarus, of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha." Right? Let me just jump down, verse 4. It says, when Yahushua heard that basically Lazarus was sick, he said, "This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of the Most High, the Son of the Most High might be glorified thereof." Now, Yahushua loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was, right? So when he heard about the sickness, instead of him rushing there, and he kind of stayed there. He kind of stayed in his spot, right? And let me jump down. And you guys can read this, right? This is the book of John in 11, right? Just read this. It's a good one, right? And it says, verse 11, it says, "These things said he, and after that he saith unto them, Our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep." Right? So he was speaking about, well, I'll just keep reading because it basically explains it. It said, then said his disciples, "Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. Howbeit Yahushua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of him taking a rest in sleep. Then Yahushua said unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead." Right? He had to kind of plainly tell him, because a lot of times Yahushua spoke in parables, right? He spoke in parables. He was talking. So when he said he was asleep, that's what they were thinking. But, no, he was telling them, no, Lazarus died, right? Let me jump to 28. It says, and when she, and this is Mary, or Martha of Slakia, it says, when she had said so, she went her way and called Mary her sister, secretly saying, "The master is come and calleth for thee." Right? And as soon as she heard that, she arose quickly and came unto him. Now Yahushua was not yet come into the town, but was in the place where Martha met him. Right? And in verse 31, I'm going to read on now. It says, "The Jews then, which were with her in the house, and comforted her, when they saw Mary, she rose up hastily and went out, followed her, saying, She goeth unto the grave to weep there. Then when Mary was come where Yahushua was, and saw him, she fell down at his feet, saying unto him, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. When Yahushua therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in his spirit, and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? They said unto him, Lord, come see. And Yahushua wept. Let me read that part again. 33. When Yahushua therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in his spirit, and was troubled, and said, Where have ye laid him? And they said unto him, Lord, come and see. Yahushua wept. Right? So just think about that. Yahushua wept. Right? And we know that Yahushua could raise people from the dead, right? And we know that he raised them from the dead eventually, right? When you read this scripture. But he saw the weeping and the pain and the moaning of his people, right? And it caused Yahushua to weep. You know what I'm saying? And this is our perfect example of how a man should be on this earth, right? So for us to weep and mourn for our people, right, who are died, hey man, it's okay. Yahushua wept, right? It says Yahushua wept, right? It's okay to mourn for your people, man, right? You don't have to be hard all the time, right? Christ, when you read the scriptures, he was an austere man, right? That means he didn't play games. He wasn't playing around, right? He was serious, right? But even he wept, right? At the passing of someone, right? He wept and he saw the sorrow and the hurt in people's eyes, man. So that's what we got to understand, man. It's okay, right, to mourn and weep for our people, right? Let's get another one, right? Let's go to Book of Genesis, right? Chapter 49 and verse number 33. And it reads, And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost and was gathered unto his people. So this is after Jacob or Israel had talked to his 12 sons, kind of told them what was going to happen in the latter days, right? And after he finished, he gave up the ghost, right? So let's get this. Let's go to Genesis 50, and we'll go to verse number 7. And it reads, And Joseph went to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph and his brethren and his father's house. Only the little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days, right? So they mourned for 7 days, right? 7 days they mourned for the patriarch, man, right? Jacob or Israel, man, right? So it's okay, right, to mourn, right? It's okay to mourn, right? Um, let's get another one. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy 34 and verse number 7. And it reads, And Moses was 120 years old when he died, and his eyes was not dim, nor his natural force abated. So when Moses died, he had all this strength. He still had all this strength. He still had his eyesight. He wasn't waxing old, but he was old, right? And it says, And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses and the days of the mourning of Moses were ended. So they wept for Moses for 30 days, right? Weeping and mourning. The people of Israel, man, the children of Israel mourn the death of Moses, man, who brought us, out of the hand, out of Egypt, right? Through Yahweh Shem Shai, man, right? They mourned him and they wept for him for 30 days, right? So let's get this. This is the book of Psalms 61, verse number 1. It says, "Hear my cry, O Most High, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee, when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I," right? We know that Christ is our rock, man. Christ is our rock and our foundation, man. It says, "For thou hast been a shelter for me and a strong tower from the enemy," right? "I will abide in thy tabernacle forever, and I will trust in the covert of thy wings." Salah, right? So we got to cry unto the Most High, right? When we can cry. It's okay to cry and weep, and it's okay to cry unto the Lord, right? Unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man, right? It's okay, right? Let's get this. We got a couple more. We're gonna wrap it up, right? This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, and I'm gonna go to verse 23. It says, Baruch chapter 4, verse 23, "For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but the Most High will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever." So we got to understand, man, though, even though we are mourning, we cry, right? We lose, a loved one, that guess what? In the end, that we're going to have joy and gladness, and it's going to be forever, man, through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? So though we mourn now, right now in this life, in this present conditions, right? That guess what? Joy and gladness is going to be coming, is going to come forever, right? According to the book of Revelation, right? Let's get this. Revelation 21 and verse number 4. And it says, "And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I will make all things new. And he said unto me, Write these words are faithful, for these words are true and faithful." Right? Yahweh Shema Shai said these words, they true and they faithful, man, that, hey, it's going to be a day where he's going to wipe the tears away from our eyes, and there should be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for all the former things are passed away, right? And this is going to be in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on this earth, man, right? It's not going to be up in the clouds, right? Not in the third heaven. It's going to be right here on earth, where we're going to have no more crying. There's going to be no more tears, no more death and sorrow amongst the people of Israel, man, right? So it's okay to cry. It's okay to mourn, right? That's what we got to understand, right? Let's get this. It's the book of Job, right? It's the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse number 20. And it reads, "Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man, neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughing and thy lips with rejoicing." Right? So, like he said, man, that he's going to wipe away our tears from our eyes, and there should be no more death and no more sorrow, to the point where, that he was going to fill our mouth with laughing and our lips with rejoicing, right? And that's what we're looking forward to, man. That's what we're striving for in this truth, right? That's why we are seeking Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. We are seeking his only begotten Son and his ways to bring us back to the Most High, so that we can have this everlasting life, so that we can have, this joy that he has promised us, through the gospel, man, through the good news, right? Let's get this. Let's go back to the book of Baruch, right? Go back to the book of Baruch, 4 and 26. And it reads, "My delicate ones have gone rough ways and are taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you," right? All things are they're done of the Lord, man, right? Whether they be good, whether they be evil, man, right? According, I think it's in the book of Isaiah, right? It says, "For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, being so return, seek him 10 times more. For he that have brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that giveth thee that name will comfort thee." Right? So in the end, the Most High is going to be our comforter. The Most High is going to be that one who's going to, through his only begotten Son, is going to be that one who's going to comfort us and to wipe away those tears that we have in this world, right? So, hopefully this lesson has been edifying, that hey, it's okay to mourn, and it's okay to cry and to weep, man, for people who have passed away, who have gone, up to the third heaven, and who are at rest right now, who are asleep, right? We got to understand that, man, right? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I just want to say, Kal Hala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Peace and blessing to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, to the elect. Stay strong. Keep fasting. Keep praying for one another. Keep striving for this truth, man, until death, right? Because we know that joy cometh in the morning, man, right? Keep going. Don't give up, right? And it's okay to mourn, and it's okay to cry, right? So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I say, Kal Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Peace and blessings. Shalom.